Kevin here with Turn 5 Fabrication, and today we're going to show you about making dimple die gussets. What these do is they'll reinforce typically the A-pillar, any other pillar on the cage, to the chassis itself, just to take up some of that dead space. So let's go ahead and we'll get started on a fresh chassis. So we've got this S13 cage that we're going to be finishing up this week, and the customer wants to add dimple die gussets. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure out first the overall length of it, but we'll just call it, I don't know, 22 inches from the start of the bend here up to the top there. And then it's going to come out from the wall, and we've got 2 3/4 inches there and 2 inches up top here. So let's go ahead and we'll draw up our piece and then show you how we do the dimples. Pull up the Inkscape program again, and we're going to cut this on our CNC plasma table, but we'll go ahead and start with a rectangle. Change our units to inches. The length of this thing we want to be 22, and the height we're going to go and do 2.5. It'll leave us some wiggle room. Okay, so now that we've got our base, we'll go ahead and just round these corners off a little bit. And let's go pick out a die that we want to use. So we've got an assortment of dimple dies in here. We've got 1/2 inch, we've got the one for the Zeus fasteners, and we've got all the way up to a 3-inch dimple. The one we're going to use today is going to be a 3/4. So it's got a 3/4 of an inch opening for the hole center. And then it's going to press out a little over an inch on the sides, inch and a quarter on the outsides. Since we know that our inside opening is 3/4, we're going to start with a circle. We're going to go ahead and change it to, let's see, we'll do 3/4. But I know that the machine, it's going to cut it a little bit on the edge. So instead of 0.75, we'll do 0.77 and just bring it a hair over. So we have our start there. And we'll go ahead and just make a bunch of these. Okay, so we'll go ahead and highlight everything. We're going to center it all up, center it up. Like I said, this is just because I don't have a CAD program to do all this on. So we're going to move these over 10 spaces. Grab our second one with it. Third one. So we went ahead and we spaced them up a little bit more. And now what we're going to do is we're going to save this, pull it up in our sheet cam program. Go ahead and draw up what we need to get the G-code file that tells the machine to cut. Move that to a layer. Do the outside layer. We're going to change our start point on this. So right there. Add a duplicate. Unselect those. We'll save that, and now we'll pull it up in the cutting program, and it is ready to cut on the table. I'm going to go ahead and pause this just so we know that these fit through, and once we deburr it all and everything, it'll fit in just fine. It's just caught right on the edge of that. Now that they're all cut, we'll go ahead and clean up both sides of this with a grinder and get it ready to do our dimples. We're just going to hit it with a deburr bit just on the inside. It's going to get rid of where the plasma started and stopped, and also let our dye slip in there with ease. Now that our dye slips in there, we're ready to go make our dimples. We're going to use a mechanical press brake today to do our pressing on these. If you don't, I assume that everybody wouldn't have one of these at their expense. You can just use a regular shop press. We'll straighten it up once we weld it. But that's basically how we make the dimple dies here at Turn 5 Fabrication. Let's go ahead and get the bow out of these. What we'll do before we weld it down, because this does narrow in and I didn't account for that when I drew these up purposely so that we had a nice straight edge, we'll just go ahead and shear that off or trim it off, and then those will fit in there perfect. Just like so. And here's a side comparison to show you. You could do all different shapes, angles, and whatever, colors you want to do. And I just want to add that I understand not everybody has these tools or equipment in their shop or their home garage to use. You can cut these out with an angle grinder with a cutoff disc. You can cut them in a bandsaw. You can cut them with a plasma cutter and a straight edge. You could drill the holes with a step bit. You could drill the holes with a hole saw bit. Whatever you have to use, I'm just showing you my way of doing it and how I utilize the tools that I have available to me. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you next time.